दिख रहा है सर।
फिर से एक बार।
यस सर।
बच्चों मैंने
सुनाई दे रहा
किया
है,
है
सुनाई
वो
दे रहा है।
दिख रहा है क्या?
यस सर,
हाँ
दिख रहा
सर।
है।
यस सर।
यस सर।
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. So let's start the class, my dear students. Yeah. In the yesterday's class, we have studied about the overall stability constant. That overall stability constant is the product of the stepwise constant, or for the logarithms of the overall stability constant, we can say that it is the sum of the logarithms of the stepwise constant. Then we have seen the same calculation using the CuNS3 4 plus 2, and for that we are given the various values of log k1, k2, k3, k4, and by doing this sum we have got the log of b4, my dear students. So it is now easy for you to understand. We have even understood about the instability constant or dissociation constant, that the reciprocal of the overall stability constant or formations constant beta 4 is called the instability constant or dissociations constant, and therefore 1 upon beta 4 is known as the instability constant or dissociation constant. We have solved even one problem where the value of B4 is given, and overall complex dissociations constant is being calculated by using the formula 1 upon B4, and the final answer have been obtained. So yesterday we have done the theory, and then even we have studied about, like we have studied few questions from the exercise. In the case of the exercise, we have first studied about the definition of stability. So the stability of a complex in a solution means the degree of association between the metal ion and the ligand involved in the state of equilibrium. We have even studied the various factors affecting the stability. The first we have studied about the nature of central atal ion, and we have studied that greater the charge density or charge to radius ratio of the central metal ion, greater would be its stability. Then the next factor that we have studied about was the size of the metal ion, and we have seen that the smaller is the size of the metal ion, more will be its stability. We have even seen the Irving-Williams order of stability, that is Mn plus 2 is less than Fe plus 2 is less than Co plus 2 is less than Ni plus 2 is less than uh, copper plus 2 and is less than zinc plus 2. Then we have even studied the next, that the electronegativity or charge of distribution of the metal ion, and on the basis of that we have divided the metals into the three classes. One is known as the class A metals, which are also known as the hard metals. Then we have divided them into the class B metals, which are also known as the soft metals. And then we have divided them into the borderline metals, which are neither the exactly hard metals nor the exactly soft metals, but they are the borderline metals. We have even seen that Cu plus 2 is class, Cu plus 1 is class B, but Cu plus 2 is borderline. Fe plus 3 is class A, but Fe plus 2 is class B metal, whereas Pp plus 2 is class B, whereas Pp plus 4 are the borderline metal ions, and depending upon the charge, these metal ions have been classified. We have even seen about the Kilect effect, that the Kilect effect increases the stability of constant complex. At the same time, this Kilect effect is very useful into the biological system and into the analytical chemistry. We have studied about the macrocyclic effect, that if the ligand is cyclic and it does not create any unfavorable steric effect, then it increases the stability of the complex. So this is how we have studied about the nature of the metal ion or central metal atom. Then the factors affecting the stability for the nature of the ligand. We can see that the basic strength, the more is the basic strength, the more is the stability of the complex ion. And then we have studied about the size and charge of the ligand. For anionic ligand, more is the charge and smaller is the size. So more is the charge density ratio, or more is the charge is to radius ratio, more is the stability. We have seen few examples and solved some questions based on the stability uh, that we can understand, or we have understood from the various factors. And then we have solved some questions where the ligand which are more stable they displaces the less stable ligands and form the compounds, and the newly formed complex shows the color in the final way. We have even studied about the paramagnetic character of CrNH3 6 + 3 and NiCN4, which is the diamagnetic in nature, with the detailed study of these compounds. We have even studied about uh, the solution of NiH2O6 + 2 is green, but NiCN4- is colorless, as it has been discussed with the help of the number of unpaired electrons, and as there are no unpaired electrons found in NiCN6- 2, it was found to be colorless. So this is what it is, the revision for all that we have studied in the yesterday class. Now we'll move to the next point. Let us study the next question of the exercise. Give the oxidation state of d orbital, occupation, coordination number of the central metal ion in the following questions. My dear students, the question I have written with the red pen. So the various complexes which we are given is the potassium trioxylato cobalt plus 3. We have given the CrEn2Cl Cl2. We are given the NH4 twice COF4, and we are given MnH2O6 SO4. Here we can first calculate the oxidation state. So the oxidation state of cobalt is +3 in this complex 1. Here we have the ligand oxalate ion, which is a strong ligand. As oxalate ion are strong ligand, the total number of 6 electrons which were present into cobalt +3 ion have been paired, and that is why T2G is filled with the 6 electron, whereas EG has 0 electron because all the electrons are paired into the d orbital. And we can see that oxalate ion is didentate, and that is why the total coordination number of cobalt is 2 multiplied by 3, that is the 6. Same way, when we look at CrEn2Cl, we can see that Cr here is present into the +3 oxidation state. En is a strong ligand, whereas Cl- is a weak ligand. But total in Cr +3, we have only 3 electrons which have not been paired in all, or even if they are paired, we can write T2G3 and EG3. So the d orbital occupation, we can easily write T2G and EG3. And from the information given, we can say that ethylene diamine is a didentate ligand, whereas chlorine is a monodentate ligand. So total coordination, 2 to the 4 for ethylene diamine plus 1 for chlorine. So total 5 coordination number we can calculate for CrEn2Cl chloride. Now we can understand for ammonium tetrafluorido cobalt +2. For this ion, we know that the oxidation state of cobalt is +2. F- is a weak ligand, so it does not cause pairing. In cobalt +2, we have total 7 electrons. So 4 electron goes into the E, whereas 3 electron goes into T2. And here we have not written EG or T2G because it is not the octahedral complex, and we can see that COF4. So total coordination number can be understood as 4. MnH2O6 sulfate, my dear students, here SO4 is -2, so MnH2O6 +2, H2O does not have any charge, so the oxidation state of Mn is +2, H2O is a weak ligand. In Mn+2, there are total 5 electrons. H2O being weak ligand does not cause any pairing, and that is why there are 3 electrons in T2G and 2 electrons in EG. As we have H2O6, so the coordination number for Mn into this ligand, we can consider it as a 6. Now we have the next question to study, my dear students, that how many ions are produced when complex CONH3 6Cl2 in solution. So we know that CONH3 6Cl2, when it dissociates into water, it produces CONH3 6 + 2 and 2Cl-. So total ion produced are 2Cl- plus 1 ion CONH3 6 + 2. CONH3 6 + 2 remains and coordination entity which does not dissociate to give 6NH3 and CO + 2. So ultimately we get total 3 ions produced by the dissociation of the compound. here we can understand that the secondary valency has not been dissociated, whereas the two chloride ions which are bonded with cobalt with the primary valency, they have been dissociated. Now we can move among the following ions. Which ion has highest magnetic momentum value and why, my dear students? So that is what we can understand here. That CrH2O6. So H2O, you can see that here chromium, iron, and zinc, all of them are bonded with the H2O ligand. All have 6 H2O ligand. Chromium is +3, iron is +2, and zinc is +2. So H2O is a weak ligand. Iron present are chromium +3, Fe+2, and Zn +2. So chromium argon 35 for S1. When it turns chromium +3, it is argon 3d3 for S0. So we have 3 unpaired electron, and the Bohr, the mu b would be 3.87 Bohr magneton. Iron argon 3d6 for S2, when it turns into Fe+2, it goes like argon 3d6 for S2. Here we have 4 unpaired electron, and the 6th electron cause pairing. H2O is a weak ligand, and that is why the total magnetic momentum spin only would be mu b is equal to 4.90 Bohr magneton. But when it comes to zinc, argon 3d10 for S2, when it turns into Zn+2, argon 3d10 for S0, there are no unpaired electron. That is why the spin only magnetic momentum would be 0, and that is why FeH2O6, and that is why Zn+2O6 will not have any magnetic momentum. So highest magnetic momentum is with FeH2O6 +2. That is what we can easily understand, and you can calculate the same way if any kind of question is being asked to you, my dear students. Now we'll study the next question. Oxidation number of cobalt in KCOCO4 is. So here we need to calculate the oxidation number. So we first look into the ionization of the coordinating sphere. So KCOCO4 will give you K plus and COCO4 minus. We know that CO is a carbonyl ligand. They do not have any charge. So cobalt plus 4 carbonyl ligand is equal to -1. In place of cobalt, if we write X plus 4 into 0, because CO have 0 charge, is equal to -1. So X is going to be -1, and that is why the oxidation state of cobalt is going to be -1 in this complex. Please remember, my dear students. Then the next question, what will be the correct order for the wavelength of absorption in the visible region for the following? Here we are given the NiH2O6 -4, NiNH3 6 +2, NiH2O6 +2. This is also very important question which requires a deep understanding. In spectrochemical series, the order of the strength is H2O is less strong than NH3, NH3 is less strong than NO2. Now you may ask me, my dear students, that why this NO2, which is not given in the textbook, into the spectrochemical series, but still I have made it this stronger than NH3. The reason is, you know, when you have nitrogen, oxygen, or fluorine as a donor atom, they are considered to be the more strong. Nitrogen, oxygen, and carbon, then they are considered to be more strong. Fluorine makes it weaker. Here you can see that both nitrogen and oxygen present into the NO2 minus. So by the cumulative effect, we consider NO2 minus as a more strong ligand than NH3. And that is why I have put NO2 minus as the strongest ligand among all these three. We are already aware that ammonia is stronger than water. These values have already been given into the spectrochemical series which is given in our textbook. So energy absorbed would be, as the strength of this ligand is in this order, the energy they will absorb also even given in this order. So NiH2O6 plus C will absorb less energy than NiNH3 6 plus 2, and NiNH3 6 plus 2 will absorb energy less than the NiH2O6 minus 4. As the energy absorbed is given, we know that energy E is equal to hc upon lambda. H and C, H is the constant, C is also constant, which is the speed of light in vacuum, and that is why we can say that E proportional to 1 upon lambda. So if energy is more, wavelength is smaller. So that means the order of wavelength will be exactly reversed because energy is inversely proportional to the wavelength, and therefore the order of wavelength we can write it exactly inverted, and that is why the wavelength that has been absorbed in NiH26 plus would be more than NH36 plus 2 would be more than NiNO26 minus 4, and this is how we can answer any such question if it is asked into the exam. Now there is one complex we have not been discussed, and this complex has been asked into the various competitive exams as well as in the various other exams. So I have discussed the hybridization for FeCO5 also for you, my dear students. So explain this is not a exercise question. Explain the hybridization of FeCO5 pentacarbonyl iron 0. Here you can see that pentacarbonyl iron 0, the oxidation state of iron is 0. We can calculate Fe plus, already in the name itself it is given 0. So the oxidation state of iron is 0. The electronic configuration of iron Z is equal to 26 is argon 36 for S0 for P0 for D0. Cobalt is a strong, carbonyl is a strong ligand, and that is why it causes pairing. So the electron that were the 6 electron present in 3D will be definitely paired, and that will fill the 3D orbital completely. The electron which are present in 4s are also being forced to go into the 3D orbital. So CO being strong ligand cause pairing, and electrons from 4s shifts to 3D. This is how 4 3D orbital have been completely filled. So using 1D, 1 4s, so using 1 3D, 1 4s and 3 4p, DsP3 hybridization has been produced, which is the trigonal bipyramidal shape, which gives the trigonal bipyramidal shape to FeCO5. No unpaired electron are present, that is why FeCO5 is diamagnetic in nature. The axial bonds are stronger than the equatorial bonds. So this is how we can say that the axial bonds are longer than the equatorial bond, and we can understand the hybridization into the pentacarbonyl iron 0. Now we are going to study about FeCN6 minus 4 and FeH2O6, my dear students. So let us study the question. FeCN6 minus 4 and FeH2O6 plus 2 are of different color in dilute solution. Why? Let us understand this question. This is also a question that is not included into the theory. So we will have to study an extra theory to answer this question, but this is an exercise question. You know, FeCN6 minus 4, where we can calculate the oxidation state of Fe, is plus 2. FeH2O6, this H2O is 0 charge, and that is why the oxidation state of Fe is plus 2. So both have plus 2 oxidation state. That is what we can easily understand. So both compounds have Fe plus 2. Fe Z is equal to 26, that is argon 36 4s2. When Fe turns into Fe plus 2, 2 electrons from 4s have been removed, and that is why this this Fe plus 2 is argon 36 4s0 4p0 4d0. Cn minus being strong ligand cause pairing, and that is why when FeCN6 minus 4 has been produced, argon 3d 4s and 4p, the 6 electron present into 3d have all been paired. So 3 3d orbital have been completely filled. So using the 2 3d orbital, 1 4s orbital and 3 4p orbital, D2sp3 hybridization takes place in FeCN6 minus 4. They do not have any unpaired electron. This is how, and as there are no unpaired electron, it is definitely going to be colorless. That is how we can understand. But when we look at FeH2O6 plus 2, H2O is a weak ligand and that does not cause pairing. So we have argon 3d 4s 4p and 4d. As there is no pairing, using 1 4s, 3 4p and 2 4d electron, sp3d2 hybridization takes place, and we get 4 unpaired electron here, my dear students. Both FeCN6 minus 4 and FeH2O6 plus 2 have various number of unpaired electron, so they show different color. But FeCN6 minus 4, which should be which should be colorless, show yellow color, and FeSO6 plus 2, which is green in color. Now the question arises here that why FeCN6 minus 4? Though it does not have any unpaired electron, it shows color. So let us understand, my dear students, that this compound shows color, and the color in this compound is explained with a specific theory, and that theory we are going to study now. So what is the name of the theory and what is that theory? The color in FeCN6 minus 4 can be explained using the theory called MLCT, metal to ligand charge transfer theory. Theory, what does this theory tells us? That if the metal is in the lower oxidation state, electron rich state, and the ligands are good pi acceptors, the pi acceptor ligands are also given to you. They are CO, NO, CN minus, N2, any other group which is having C double bond C, or any other group that is having C triple bond C, RNC, C5H5 minus, biphenyl or orthophenyl. These kind of groups, they are very good pi acceptors, and they behave or they follow the MLCT theory, which is known as the metal to ligand charge transfer. So there is metal to ligand charge transfer. It means electrons from filled d orbital of metals are transferred to the vacant pi star orbitals of the ligand. This is called MLCT, metal to ligand charge transfer, which causes color here in Fe, which causes color. So here in Fe, if you see, Fe is in the lowest, in its lowest oxidation state possible, that is Fe plus 2. Cn minus is a very good pi acceptor ligand, and thus MLCT, metal to ligand charge transfer, takes place in FeCN6 minus 4, and thus the color in FeCN6 minus 4 is yellow. Actually it should be colorless, but due to the MLCT, metal to ligand charge transfer, the color of FeCN6 minus 4 is expressed as yellow, and in practical also FeCN6 minus 4 is yellow in color, and though it does not have any unpaired electron, it is a colorful compound. So this is how, my dear students, we have studied almost all the exercise questions and the theory and in-text question, and many other questions which are helpful for you into your competitive exams. My dear students, we have studied the previous chapter, which was the D block elements. In D block elements, we are given some questions which are the questions that belong to this coordination compound, or which can be explained only if you know the concept of this particular chapter of the coordination compound, and that is why these questions I have not discussed into that chapter, but I have left them for the discussion after completing the chapter of coordination compound. So let us discuss these questions here, my dear students. Let me read the question for you. Write down the number of 3D electrons in each of the following ions. I have written the various ions. Indicate how would you expect 5 3D orbital to be unpaired. How would you expect the 3D orbital to be occupied? Sorry, it was not unpaired, to be occupied for these hydrated ions which are octahedral. So let us look into this question. If these ions are hydrated, d orbital splits into T2G and Eg. Now we'll look at Ti plus 2. So Ti argon 3d2 for s2, Ti plus 2 will be argon 3d2 for s0. So we have d2, and all the 2 electron present in d2 will go to T2G2, and that is why the 3d would be occupied as T2G2 Eg0. When we look at vanadium plus 2, vanadium Z is equal to 23, argon 3d3 for s2, vanadium plus 2 would be argon 3d for s0. So in d orbital 3 electrons, so we can consider it as a d3. So there will be 3 electron in T2G and no electron in Eg. So 3d orbital are occupied as T2G3 and Eg0. Then we'll think of the Cr plus 3, chromium Z is equal to 24, argon 3d5 for s0. When it turns into Cr plus 3, we have argon 3d3 for s0. Again, it is d3 kind of electronic configuration, which is filled into the d orbital as T2G3 and Eg0. Same way we have Mn plus 2, Mn Z is equal to 25, argon 35 for S0. So we can say that Mn plus 2 would be argon 35 for S0. So we have D5 orbital as the ligand is water. There is no pairing. So the D orbital will be occupied as T2G3 and Eg2. Same way Fe plus 2 and Fe plus 3. Fe Z is equal to 26, argon 36 for S2. Fe plus 2 would be 36 for S0. So in 3D we have 6 electron. One orbital has a pair of electron. So you can see that in T2G we have 4 electron, in Eg we have 2 electron. So 3D orbital occupies as T2G4 and Eg2. In case of Fe plus 3 we have argon 35 for S0 or all electron are unpaired. So 3 electron in T2G and 2 electron in Eg. So 3D orbital occupies as T2G3 and Eg2. The seventh case, cobalt plus 3, cobalt Z is equal to 27, argon 37 for S2, CO plus 2, argon 37 for S0. So we have D7 where first two orbital are being paired and 3 orbital are unpaired. So when d orbital splitting takes place, T2G have 5 electron and Eg have 2 electron. So 3 orbital occupancy is T2G 5 and Eg2. This is what we can understand for the cobalt. Now we look at Ni plus 2. So nickel Z is equal to 28, argon 38 for S2. We know that when nickel turns into Ni plus 2, it is argon 3ds. For S0, I have made a mistake. Please don't make the same mistake. It is argon 30 for S0, 3d8 for S0. So in 3D we have 8 electron. These 8 electron are distributed as 6 electron in T2G and 2 electron in Eg. So all the electron in T2G are paired, but in Eg we have 2 unpaired electrons. So 3D orbital occupancy is T2G6 and Eg2. Then we have Cu plus 2. Cu Z is equal to 29, argon 3d10 for S1. Cu plus 2 would be argon 3d9 for S0. 3d9 is there in Cu plus 2, which is distributed, these 9 electrons are distributed as T2G6 and Eg3 for Cu plus 2. That is what we can easily understand. Now we want to know the number of unpaired electron. So by looking into the question, we can say that Ti plus 2 has 2 unpaired electron, Vadinium plus 2 plus has 3 unpaired electron, Cr plus 3 has 3 unpaired electron, Mn plus 2 has 5 unpaired electron, Fe plus 2 has 6 unpaired electron, Fe plus 3 has 5 unpaired electron, Co plus 2 has 7 unpaired, sorry, not unpaired electron, my dear students, but a number of 3D electron. I have made a mistake. So Ti plus 2 has 2 electron, vanadium plus 2 has 3 electron, Cr plus 3 has 3 electron in d orbital, Mn plus 2 have 5 electron in d orbital, Fe plus 2 has 6 electron in d orbital, Fe plus 3 has 5 electron in d orbital, Co plus 2 has 7 electron in d orbital, Ni plus 2 has 8 electron in d orbital, and Cu plus 2 has 9 electron in d orbital. Now we have the question, what can be inferred from the magnetic moment value of the following complexes? You can see that K for MnCN6 is having 2.2, FeH2 plus 2 having 5.3, and K2MnCl6 has 5.9. What do we understand from this? We are well aware that the spin only magnetic momentum for elements have the following values. For 1 electron 1.73, 2 2.84, 3 3.87, 4 4.90, 5 5.92. This is what we have studied in the previous chapter. Now let's look at the given values. For K4MnCN6, the value given is 2.2. This 2.2 to 1.73, that is 2.2 minus 1.73 is 0.57. 2.84 minus 2.2 is 0.64. So 2.2 is more near to 1.73, which indicates that there is one unpaired electron present into the compound MnCN6 minus 4. In MnCN6 minus 4, now if we calculate the oxidation state, we find that the oxidation state of Mn is plus 2. So Mn plus 2 is present in MnCN6 minus 4. Now my dear student, if Mn, the atomic number is 25, so it is argon 35 for S2. Mn plus 2, when it is made, it is argon 35 for S0. But the value indicates that there is only one unpaired electron. That means when MnCN6 is formed, there is a pairing of electron takes place. So 3d5 must be T2g5 and Eg0, where Cn minus causes the pairing of electron, and that is it means that pairing energy is less than the octahedral